wanted to run as far as I could, as fast as I could. There were lots of stress. Don't be that good anymore. What can I do?
We are lucky that our life, we are survived, we're safe.
A day after a massive propane explosion turned the Kiel and Wilson area into a wasteland, residents and business owners returned to survey the damage as they struggle to get their lives back on track. Our Global One News chopper shows the extent of the devastation at Sunrise Propane Facility, that's near Kiel and Wilson. The surrounding neighborhood is home to more than 12,000 people who now want to know how this could have ever happened, and of course, what comes next.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Leslie. You are watching a special edition of the News Hour. We've got all the day's news coming up for you, but first, we want to join Leslie Roberts. Leslie, you're live from part of the city that is forever changed by that dramatic and terrifying explosion. Walk us through what you're seeing there.
And Anne-Marie, I'm just at the exterior of the perimeter. This part of Wilson Avenue and the area remains closed. I've seen a few police cars. They're patrolling for potential looters, but the residents, some of whom are expected to go back and retrieve some of their belongings tonight, haven't seen any of them yet. This is about long block and a half, actually, just east and south of the propane facility. But I got to show you some of the extent of the devastation, because it was a powerful blast. This strip mall, well, the story tells itself. You can see these gentlemen have just replaced some of the windows of this first facility, excuse me guys, with some plywood. And then you can see this gentleman here is actually waiting for the glass man to arrive and fix his window. But it had to be a powerful explosion. Take a look at the thickness of this glass. Windows all along this facility have been blown out. That tells the story, doesn't it? We have a lot of ground to cover in this edition of the News Hour for you. We're going to try and answer all those big looming questions that you probably are thinking yourself. But let's begin with the blast itself, the aftermath, as well as the latest on the investigation. We begin with Global's Alex Pearson.
From the air, the aftermath looks like a war zone, a hollowed-out shell of what used to be a propane plant. Sunrise Propane blew up Sunday morning, sending 12,000 fleeing from their homes. Windows were shattered, doors blown out, 5 homes heavily damaged.
You don't forget that initial explosion. It was like being in a war zone. It was not intense.
36 hours later, fire crews remain on scene, assisting police in picking up enormous chunks of debris found scattered up to a mile away. The fact it happened when it did saved lives.
Nobody was out of their houses. Nobody was sitting on their front lawns. There was nobody in the transportation yard to the north. The numbers of casualties we could have had would be tremendous.
While most escaped unharmed, Deputy Fire Chief Bob Leake collapsed and died on the scene. Police are also looking for Parvinda Saini, a company employee who remains unaccounted for.
Anybody who has any information about employees at that facility that haven't been seen or they haven't heard from, please contact the police.
While most evacuees are back home, 100 homes within 5 blocks of the plant remain off limits because asbestos was found in the area. If disturbed, it can be deadly. Ministry of Environment's on scene conducting tests, but it's not known when the area will be safe.
We allow people to go in and walk on it and that, then we're going to cause it to get into the air again.
It could be months before a cause is known. Mayor Miller says they're looking into reports from area residents who claim they've seen open flames, smoking, and unsafe truck operations in the past. The owner of the company did not return our calls. Alex Pearson, Global News.
And of course, there was one life lost yesterday. A 25-year veteran of the Toronto Fire Service died while at the scene of yesterday's blast. District Chief Bob Leake was surveying damage from the propane explosion when he collapsed yesterday. The official cause of death has yet to be determined, but it appears Leake's death was not the result of a work-related injury. A full departmental funeral will be held for the 55-year-old on Friday. He is being remembered by his colleagues tonight as fun-loving and as a leader.
Bob was a valued member of Toronto Fire Services, and I personally had the opportunity to work with Bob on a great many projects as he worked out of headquarters here, and he will be sorely missed.
And there are many other victims in this story, of course, those left without a home to go to. Some people remain at York University, others, well, staying with friends and family, waiting for word on their houses. Global's Laura Zilke joining us live now with more on that part of the story tonight. Good evening, Laura.
Good evening, Leslie. We're actually just a little bit west of where you are. We're at Keele and Wilson, which is just beyond the perimeter of those homes that are still evacuated. We're outside of actually the Value Village, where as of yesterday morning, almost all of these windows were completely smashed. They've made quick work of getting those panes replaced, but of course beyond here, there still is a lot of work to be done. There are pockets of damaged homes and businesses in a large circle around the site of Sunday's blast. All the people in the area living separate but frightening stories.
What I saw was something you'd be watching on TV. Something in a movie theater.
Donna and Mario were some of the lucky ones. They left in the midst of the smoke and fire, not knowing what they'd come back to.
But I'm standing here just watching this and saying, wow. Wow. And to hear all those tanks go off, 45 minutes of nothing but popping corn.
When they returned this morning, they found cracks almost all the way up the brick walls. Their neighbors' windows shattered.
We just locked the door and ran.
On the other hand, 100 homes have still been deemed unsafe for residents to return to. Kathy Toddish's house is one of them.
They just tell us, stay back, stay back, stay back. You can't get in.
This woman and her 2 dogs are camped out indefinitely at York University. She's living on only a few hours sleep, a little food, and a lot of confusion.
They actually closed down the facilities where they were keeping us, the people with pets. And for a good couple of hours, we had nowhere to go.
Business owners all along Wilson Ave were forced to sweep up broken glass and tend to spoiled food, some even nursing injuries.
We're just going to have to fix it, keep the days going on, and forget about it. Well, it's not going to forget about it, it's just we have to keep working.
Now, just a few minutes ago, Toronto police held a press conference informing some people that there are more homes that have been cleared to go back into. The addresses of those homes are Catherine Road from 99 to 119, Garrett Boulevard, numbers 25 to 29, Regent Road from 108 to 139, that's on the north side. Then on the south side, numbers 111 to 139. Of course, officers are asking residents from those homes to go to 877 Wilson Avenue, but please bring photo ID with you. Only at that point, when you're fully identified, will you be allowed to go back home. As for those other 100 homes, when those people can get in, Leslie, that's just answer to a question we don't know at this point.
Time, obviously, will tell. All right, Laura Zilke down the street, Keele and Wilson, thank you very much. We're actually at the corner of Garrett. And if you look behind me, the first van, a civilian vehicle I've actually seen come into this region now in this what has been a ghost town most of the day. Seen a lot of police cars. We got our first resident, obviously, going back home on that list that Laura gave us. And the residents who are going home are kind of worried about what they're going to find once they're there. They've heard stories of looting. They didn't have a chance to stop and see the damage when they were leaving as quickly as they could. I met with a couple of them who were able to go home earlier this afternoon. I can tell you, they all have quite a few stories to tell.
Well, it's like a bomb, like a bomb, I don't know. I was thinking earthquake or a bomb, I don't know.
And then all the glass ended up on top of you.
Yeah, that's all me.
Maria Malco is finally allowed back into her home after being jolted out of her bed early Sunday morning by the blast.
That takes a terrible thing.
I was running down Wilson Avenue against a bunch of people going the other direction, looking for my mom.
Maria has lived here for 40 years, a World War II survivor who lost her home in Slovenia to the Nazis. She has no intention of moving out. Her son Joe says that's up to Sunshine Propane.
Just gotta move out.
Who would put a propane area in a residential neighborhood?
Across the street, the same sentiment. Wendy